Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, dear Toasties, dear Toastmasters, herewith I welcome you very warmly from freshly Saint Petersburg, and am happy to have, as always, foreign guests on board. On the name of our team, just let me please give some short remarks before we start into our official agenda. What I wanted to say is that we have a couple of guests today, and I mean special guests, which are the two area directors, Valeria Khalatkova, if that's correct, and Irina Suvorova, which you guys can see. Hello, both are here already in St. Petersburg because we're going to meet afterwards for a little chit chat on how things are with the Moscow teams and in St. Petersburg. As well, I would like to say a very warm welcome to both and two of our new official members, which are Rami Said. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Hi, Rami. And our newest and latest and freshest member from local St. Petersburg, Konstantin Kutz or Kotz. Help me out how to pronounce that.
Dada.
Dada?
Yeah, it's Konstantin Kutz.
Kutz.
Yep.
Okay, sounds actually Germanish, but okay. And Rami Said?
Yes, Rami Said.
Said, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to learn how to speak properly. Rami Said. I am very, very pleased about new, fresh members, also locally, and making sure that our club's priority #1 is to have more members on board from all over the world, and to bring it to the next level. Thus, guys, if you have any questions, you've seen some interaction and some writing going on. So Rendell and the team and myself are always here for you to onboard you as long as you have some questions. Apart from that, next point I would like to address is for our timer. To the timing issue, we sometimes have discussions that different local teams have different timing regulations. So we have timing durations of a speech which are officially with a minimum time and a maximum time. And there's always the question, if you are above the maximum time, if that's still okay and to be considered for the vote or not. And the international official regulation says that plus and minus 30 seconds of the declared times are still allowed to be voted or to be considered for the vote. Just that everyone is aware of the fact, if it says on the agenda, the speech has 7 minutes max, plus 30 seconds, you're still in the game for the vote, okay? There is one exception, as every rule, and this is the table topics. The table topics, as we discovered, have they don't have a minus 30. So if it says, what do we have? 2 minutes? No, for the table topics, you must reach them. 1:30. What does it say, Michael? The minimum? Can't find it here.
Minimum is 1.
Minimum
1 minute
is
to
1.
2.
Yes, so you can't have. You're not obliged to. You will not be considered for the table topics in the vote if you are 1 minute and then you are only 30 seconds. There is no minus 30. So the minimum is 1 minute. Okay, this is the one exception. I think, guys, I have it right? We double check that with our team officially. Just that everyone is on board, how we're going to do it. Konstantin, you have a question.
And the maximum is 2:30, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Because sometimes we have a discussion with people from different clubs and everyone has a different interpretation. So we just want to make sure that we are having this out of our back of the head. Also an announcement, next meeting onwards, we would like to introduce another agenda slot. And this is going to be the joke master who's going to open up with the joke of the day before the meeting begins, because above all the corporate and the standard and the procedures, we are very much aware of the fact that fun and laughter should not be forgotten in any times. Last but not least, from a brief introduction, everyone should also be aware that as a public speaking club, data privacy becomes a bit of an issue. So if you are in a public speaking club, data and videos are going to be published. So please be aware of the fact if you don't want it to be seen in the Facebook group or VK group, you just need to be aware that by attending this group, these meetings, you are being public as an information. Okay. Apart from that, I'm going to close my opening remarks from the presidential perspective and hand over to the Toastmaster of today, who's going to introduce us briefly today's program. Walter, please. Yes. Thank you very much, Walter. Thank you very much for a brief introduction. Me and Walter being today the Toastmaster of the day, I'm going to introduce today's program. Valeria, Irina, I don't know if you double check that. I'm just the Toastmaster of the day. That's why I'm being a bit funny here on this stage. Olga. Now, what we're going to do to everyone who's new, our overall agenda for today consists of 2 parts, and we always have a 10-minute short, brief break because we like to chit-chat and go for some natural breaks as well. Around 14:33, we're going to heading to that. So 2 parts are here being divided. The first, number 1 part is going to be actually the speaking part. So we have 2 speakers today. And the second part is going to be the more interactive part where everyone can participate in the table topics, which are going to be introduced later, and in the quizzes, which are going to be led by our quiz master. This is in a short and brief introduction for you. Apart from that, we're going to go and have a brief introduction of today's evaluation team. I'm going to kick off with a brief introduction of the grammarian. Valeria Khalatkova, you want to have a minute to have your say.
Thank you, Walter. Am I audible? Can you hear me well enough?
Yes, yes, all fine.
Great, thank you so much. So thank you for welcoming me to the meeting, and I'm happy to serve as the grammarian of the day and the word master of the day. And as far as I know, there is a theme of the meeting, right? Or is there?
Yes,
okay, then. So do you actually know when you are in England and someone offers you, say, tea or cookies, if you want to say no, what do you normally say? You don't say no, you just say thank you. Well, if you want to say yes, then you say yes, please. So there's a big cultural difference between English and Russian and the way we're trying to say a polite no to someone. So for today's meeting, I have chosen the verb, the phrasal verb that is called bow out. That is a polite way to withdraw or decline or say get out of an activity or role or some action that you are not happy about. Say, I was, as an example, many sportsmen somehow are forced to bow out of the profession at a relatively early age, or a politician had to bow out because of the new congressman step up. So basically, if you want to say no, or if you want to get rid of some activity that you are not liking too much, then you're just bowing out politely. So I encourage each and every one of you to use this phrasal verb in your speeches, in prepared speeches and table topic speeches and in evaluations, in a matter of saying no to something, if that is possible, to use it as much as possible, and I will count each usage of this word. And the second role of a grammarian would be to keep track of some great usage of words, great usage of idioms and phrases, as well as to point out some mispronunciations, stylistical mistakes, some grammatical errors, some sentence errors, whatever it is, whatever I'm managing to hear during today's meeting. So please be careful with your speeches, and let's hope that you will not have to bow out very much often in your life and in the meeting. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Valeria, for this brief introduction. The next one in our team supporting us today is going to be our timer, Anna Soldatova. Anna Soldatova, our timer.
Hello, nice to see you, everyone. As timer, I will time the table topics, speakers, formal speeches, and evaluation. And I will use technical support For example, during table topics, I will raise the green card when at 1 minute, and now I'll show you the green card, how it looks like. Sorry, just a second. This is green card, yes. Then at 1 minute and 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow card, and here's the yellow card. Okay, and at 2 minutes, I will raise the red card, and red card to you. This one is red card, so I guess everything is clear with cards. Okay, that is it, and at the end, I will tell you my report. Thank you, dear Toastmasters. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna. Thank you very much. And yes, just a reminder, all the timings are plus minus 30 still credible for participating in the vote. I'm just keep reminding this a little bit today, so it becomes standard for all other meetings. Moving along, the next one would be our general evaluation team, who is going to be evaluating the rest of it. And I'm going to just hand over to Randall Eastman, who is going to give you an insight on that. Randall?
Thank you very much, Walter. I'm going to give you an insight right here on what the general evaluation team does. Well, I think you mean me, but I have a team here. I'm in the temple. I've been training for sumo wrestling this week, and now I'm just taking a break away from the other boys. My role is to evaluate our general performance in this meeting, looking at how our meeting was set up, looking at how we greet people, how we look after them, how we introduce our club, how we introduce the various aspects of our meeting, and I will give a little report at the end. So I will be evaluating on the evaluators as well.
Thank you very much, Randall. I think that is clear. We are going to move along to the A counter of today, our latest freshest member, Zaid, the A counter.
Hello. So my role is to count the sounds that are used as fillers, like and, but, so, well, and also words that are repeated, like I, this means, and restarts in the middle of the idea. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rami. Applause to you. Keep counting. We need all that to hear what we don't hear, but often say. Moving along to our next role is going to be our quizmaster, Alexander Kim. Alexander Kim, quizmaster for today.
Walter, as a quizmaster, I will also listen carefully to what you say, but unlike grammarian role, I will pay attention to the little facts or trivia that is going to be announced today. What does it mean? That means that you should also pay attention to such little details, because I will be back at the end of my meeting with a set of questions to give my report. Thank you, Walter.
Thank you very much, Alexander. Always appreciate the quizmaster. That means that throughout our Toastmaster session, you need to listen carefully to the content as well. Our last role to be introduced is Michael Wader, the table topics. Table topics, Michael Wader.
Yes, we will get together and try to say no to some people. It's not going to be easy. You're going to be in a situation, table topics, where you want to say yes, but unfortunately, you're going to have to be polite and you're going to have to say no. So we're going to see if you can handle that situation. That's what our table topics are going to be like this afternoon. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Michael. Looking forward to table topics in the second half. As mentioned by, I think, Valeria, or as a gentle reminder that, of course, we have a theme of the day, which I have missed out to announce, and this is the art of saying no. A small little brief story on that one. Somehow, there are little things who pop up in life and you'd wonder why this happens, such as my neighbors. We just moved into a new flat, which you can see by my very stylish design lamp in the background. And I've realized that some of my neighbors are very particularly friendly. And she'd always come over, the lady from below, and ask me, oh, Walter, can you just be a little bit quieter? Can you just be aware of when you turn on your hardcore instruments when you're renovating? I said, yes, why not? Oh yeah, I could do that. Yes, for sure. And she'd keep coming to me and calling me and telling me very briefly things that the neighborhood is a bit awkward and the people are a bit very unfriendly here in Moscow Prospect. And I said, oh, well, this is interesting. Yeah. And then she'd keep asking me, when do you move in? And I said, well, I'm going to be moving in the next 2 weeks or so. So that happened. We moved in. After 1 week of being here in the flat, we had visitors coming in. Visitors from Smolny, 2 men in black, saying, hey, guys, do you know there's a neighbor below? Do you know that they have 1 child? Do you know that they tell you not to make any renovations? I said, yes, but they've been doing the renovation just a month before they moved in. They said, yeah, okay, but we need to tell you that you need to stop doing it. And I was thinking and talking to my wife about that and said, if you don't say no and fuck very straight away, then potentially you get yourself into some trouble and your comfort zone becomes a bit too close. So what I'm going to say is that the art of saying no straight away, and probably the lessons learned would be to say, yes, I will be quiet once the renovation is ready, would not have provided her the idea is that she can move along, coming to me and dropping off a lot of stuff she has on her mind. Because as she reported, no one else from the neighbors has ever communicated to her. And when she told me that, I said, okay, the art of saying no is probably something to look upon to. That is my story. I'm looking forward for you guys as well. Maybe you have some of those ideas. And without further ado, although Randall hates that, I'm going to hand over to our first speaker of today, which is our newest member, Konstantin Kutz. He is going to provide a background story of himself, which is an innovative planning path and is his icebreaker. Konstantin Kutz, my story.
Thank you, Walter. Hello, Toastmasters, friends. My name is Konstantin Kutz and I'm 31 years old. Friends call me Costa. Can you hear me well? Cool. I have a master's degree in computer science, and for several years now I work as a consultant in software industry. I have a programming background, but nowadays my duties have been shifted into project management. The best part of my work is when we bring the idea into reality. And I like to treat my craft as a contribution to the society, as we make stuff for people, make to use stuff for people easier, optimize processes, and create virtual robots. So that's my way of making the world the better place. I enjoy socializing and meeting new people, but I have a very few close friends. I'm not a strong party person, but if there is a good occasion, why don't drink a glass? My gym schedule is so inconsistent that I forgot and I did the bench press the last time. Although I enjoy playing football, swimming, and going outdoors once in a while. Music lifts my spirit in the morning and helps me to concentrate during the work hours, combined with a cup of cappuccino. I like to listen to Baroque, house music, and classics. Yeah, but I'm not really a fan of hard metal and unstructured electronic beats. So then it comes to music, you might say I'm almost omnivorous. My reading portfolio mostly consists from classical business and management literature, But before calling me a snob, take into account that I have a sci-fi and fantasy background. Well, what else? I do trading for half a year, and if you want an advice, I can give you one, and I hope it will save your traveling budget. Do not short Tesla, ever. Another thing I enjoy to do is line in my resume. When I was in the Philippines, I was dating a Chinese girl. I met her in Toastmasters, by the way, and I wanted to make her to teach me some Chinese. It was almost a lingua franca in Asia. After a while, we broke up, and I hated her so much that I decided to switch to German instead. Now my German is so bad that I can barely watch cartoons with subtitles. However, it doesn't stop me from putting intermediate level in my CV. The goal I'm currently striving for is to become the best, among the best software development managers in the world. I want to find a life-work balance, become overall a happy person, be surrounded by like-minded people, and find a pretty-looking humanoid washing machine. Life is like a programming. You can fix all the bugs and errors, but no one is insured from the global update. My choice is enjoy the moment, stay cool, and be prepared for the upcoming challenges. Back to you, fellow Toastmaster, Walter.
Thank you very much, Konstantin. Thank you very much. Highly appreciate your first speech. Glad to have software developers on board, especially in our Zoom and EasySpeak software infrastructure, but I'm sure you'll learn about that later very fast. That's a small hint. Thank you very much. After this nice opening, we're going to move along the agenda for our for our next second speaker of the day, followed by Michael Wader. Michael Wader, yeah, just be aware of the fact adjusting your camera and your microphone. Michael Wader is I was just about to say 100-year-old Toastmaster legend, but I think I don't say 100, probably 25-ish. I'm always mistaken. He has been living and working in several countries of this year. He has deep China connections, American background, and was doing or is doing leadership consultancy. And we are very thankful to have him on board of our team as well. And today we're going to listening from his dynamic leadership path, the speech learning to use the force. Michael Wader, all yours.
Every day, thousands of competent people loyal to their companies are promoted, and then they turn into Darth Vader-like villainistic, incompetent managers, and it's not their fault. Now, we have to stop and think about why would somebody change from one job to another job? Why would they actually do something different? Many years ago, I was an aircraft electronic technician, and I worked on aircraft, and I loved it. Aircraft don't have skin, they don't have feelings, they don't have emotions, and they don't talk back to you. They're quiet. And I was doing a good job and known for my high quality and getting a job done. But because I was a good technician, somebody decided they needed to promote me. So they promoted me into a team leader and gave me a team to manage. Well, I thought all the workers are going to do the same as I am. They're going to do their hard work, get the job done, no problem, right? I was sadly mistaken. I had to try to manage this team, but I didn't know how. So what I chose to do was to push them. I decided that if I tell them what to do, when to do it, how to do it, follow them, check them, they would get it done. So they did do it, and our performance was okay. We met the requirements. We were not behind. We were doing all right. But because my team was doing okay, they promoted me again, gave me more people, more responsibility, which means I had more people to push. And over a period of time, I got those people to do what they needed to do, keep planes in the air, not on the ground, and we were successful. But I had to push them to do it. I had to force them in order to get the job done. Well, we did okay, so they promoted me again. So I kept getting promoted and my groups kept getting bigger and bigger. And let me give an example of my leadership style at that time. I had a very young airman who was working for me. He was married and had a child at home. And one day he shows up late for work. So what did I say to him? You know, he's late for work. I'll tell you what I said to him. Airman, why are you late? He said, I'm late, Sarge, because my son got sick and had to take him to the doctor, and now I come to work. I said, that's no excuse. If I wanted you to have children, I would have issued you children. Don't use that excuse again. Obviously, not a very good leader at that time. My leadership was so bad that my workers literally wanted to kill me. I found out about a plot where they were going to physically take care of me and kill me. They had changed my name from Michael Vader to Darth Vader. And that's what they thought about me. The day after I found out they were going to kill me, I get a phone call from my general. He says, Michael, one of your people is in the dormitory, has a sawed-off shotgun, and is going to commit suicide. You need to come help him. I don't know what to do. I've never been in that situation before. I don't care about people. I jumped in my car, went out to the base. When I got to the room, they pushed me in the room and they locked the door. I had no idea what to do. That's the first day that I started caring about people. Now, a couple of days later, after the situation had been solved, my general calls me in and he wants to give me a gift. He gave me a book. He said, this is because you did such a good job. I wanted to reward you. The book was called See You at the Top. And it was by a man named Zig Ziglar. Now, Zig Ziglar is very, very famous in America and in other countries. And he is a salesman. He talked about being a great salesman, but he also talked about being a good leader. And he had something to say that I remembered, and I have always remembered ever since that day that I first read it. Here's what he said. You can have everything you want in life if you help others get what they want in life. So I remembered that. I reinvented my leadership style. And 3 years later, this Darth Vader guy who changed, was selected as one of the top leaders in the entire United States Air Force. Now, I'm going to save the rest of the story for my closure. I'll get back to it. You need to stop and think. If you have people working for you, in your mind, for all of you, think about who was the best leader or supervisor you ever had. Think about them just for a moment. I'll give you a couple seconds to think. Who was that? Put that name in your head. You got it? Now, let's switch it. Who was the worst supervisor you ever had? Who was the terrible one that you didn't want to work for? Do you know their name? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it. Now, if you're the leader, what do you want your legacy to be? Like the good one or like the bad one? You have a choice. If you take care of your people and you make sure they have a clean and safe place to work, make sure that they have the right tools and equipment and machinery. If they have to work longer, you got to give them a rest time afterwards. If you take care of these people will take care of the process. They will do a good job. You as a leader do not need to stay focused only on the process. You know, most leaders worry about production and strategy and customers. Stop worrying about that. Start caring about the people. You're going to be much better off. More things will get done if you do that. You'll be much more successful. Today, I'm not Darth Vader. Today, I'm Michael Vader. And now I'll give you the rest of the story. After those 3 years, and they selected me as one of the top leaders, I had to fly to Hawaii to pick up the award. And when I went there, there was a lot of high-ranking people that I didn't know I was meeting for the first time. Everybody was very nice. I'm meeting all these strangers. And then came the evening when I had to walk on the stage and receive my big trophy for being one of the best leaders in the United States Air Force. And as I walked on that stage, I saw a friendly face. The 1-star general that gave me that book 3 years ago was there, and now he's a 3-star general. He handed me the trophy. He looked me in the eye and he says, "Mike, I'm glad we see you at the top. Mr. Toastmaster."
Thank you very much, Mike. What a fantastic story of a personal, with cliffhangers and emotions, and yeah, a very, very emotional topic. Thank you very much for your thoughts and such a great speech. I would like all members who are sitting now in front of their devices to do the 2 things. And before I'm going to ask you to do that, I would like to move along to Anna Soldatova and double check the timing of the speeches.
Should I report?
Yes, please. Anna Soldatova, please can you double check if what are the timing results from the first and second speaker?
Yes, I can. So everything is okay. Konstantin Kuts is in time. His speech length was 4 minutes and 4 seconds. And I guess with our new rules, Michael Vader also is in time, because his time was 7 minutes and 28 seconds. Thank you.
That is correct. Thank you very much, Anna Soldatova. Good that we have a timer and we clarified that. Here with both candidates are open for the vote. Herewith, we will receive in a couple of seconds, potentially, a link for the voting system to make sure that you can click it in the chat and make sure that you tick the box for the best speaker of today. However, unless we don't have this link in the chat yet, what you do in the meantime, please take yourself 30 seconds up to a minute to write to every person, every speaker, directly what you liked about his speech, what you liked best, or maybe room for improvement. Please be aware before sending that you tick send to and then click and choose the speaker you're referring to and not all.
I'm working on it, Walter, just a little.
Yeah. We still don't have background music, but let's have a minute or so, because every speaker deserves a direct note from the audience, as we would do it offline anyways. I'm gonna do it as well. Let me check.
Walter, I have a little technical problem here. I'm going to try to solve.
If you need some support from me or from Alex or something, you just let me know.
No need, but it might be a couple of minutes before I get it.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Let's see. Where would that be?
Walter, for some reason, the link is longer than normal, but it should
That's
work.
all right. Okay. I'm going to double check. For all and everyone who's here, we've just received the link from Randall in the chat. So what you can do now is to click it, and then you'll be forwarded to direct Paul, and then please choose your vote for the best speaker of today. Should work, so I don't know. It looks good.
Fine.
Yeah, cool, Michael, thanks, yeah. It's working, yeah. Okay, I'm looking at the faces steering more towards me and the screen instead of the chat. So I would assume that everyone was successful in doing the poll. If not, just type it to me or just do it. Apart from that, I would herewith announce the first part for being closed and leave us into the 10-minute break, which we have. So my watch is saying 14:42. I don't know, please have a look at your watch. Sometimes they defer a couple of minutes. So we will see each other in 10 minutes here. For everyone who is going to be here, we're going to be staying in the Zoom chat anyways. So you can also stay here with us during the break. If not, see you at in 10 minutes time back for the second half. I'm gonna clap myself because no one's clapping. Just as a reminder, we have still the theme is the art of saying no, and we're still with the word of the day, to bow out. So if anyone wants to bow out of the discussion due to personal reason, you're always welcome to do so, but it will have a negative effect on your life, obviously, for dropping out the Toastmaster meetings. That was a little joke, and after reconvening the meeting, I'm moving along with the agenda and hand over to our session of the table topics to Michael Wader. Michael Wader, the table.
Mr. Toastmaster, I'm going to bow out and let you do it. I'm going to bow out and let you do it, Walter. I wouldn't do that to you. Fellow Toastmasters, Toastmaster of the day, General Evaluator, guests, everybody, welcome to Table Topics. I just watched something in Singapore the other day, and Caleb was watching it also, about humor, and we have to put a little bit of humor into our sessions, and I know Walter has planned to do that by adding a joke master. So we just need to have a little bit of levity, get people to smile a little bit more. So that's what I was trying to do. Today on our table topics, 7 of you will have an opportunity to participate. When you participate, I will show you a slide that has a sentence on it, And it talks about how do you say no politely? How do you politely bow out of a situation? How can you get out of it? So we're going to look at those. Each of you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. If you go into 2:30, that's the absolute maximum, but you need to speak at least a minimum of 1 minute to qualify. Okay, so keep that in mind. Timer, Anna, you've got the timing for us, right? 1 to 2 minutes. Okay. Thank you, Anna. Appreciate that. Okay, so now I've got 7 things on the screen, and what I need to is I need to find a volunteer. Who would like to volunteer to be the first person? If you'll put a hand, oh, Rami, you got your hand up already. Very, very good, Rami.
Yes.
Okay, you can see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, this is about the art of saying no. How do you bow out politely when you're in a situation? And the situation you have, and we won't start it on the timing until you say you're ready, but I'm going to give you a chance to read what it says first. Okay, 1 second. Screen. Move this out of the way. I got to get out of your way. You have just finished working. You have just finished working out in the gym for 2 hours, and you are very tired. Your friend has just entered and asked you to work out with him or her for 2 more hours. How will you tell them no? They're your friend.
Okay, I'm ready. So my friend just met me, and I would say, yes, you want to work out? Let's go ahead. What's your program for today? He will tell me, well, today is my shoulders, today is my legs. Today I'll be doing some cardio. I'll be listening to him and telling him, okay, that's very interesting. These are good things to do. It's good to do your workout. It's good to do your biceps and legs in that day. I'll start explaining to him, for example, how to make his workout better, how I worked out that day, and actually go through the beginning of the warm-up, support them there, give them a story of how things were going. And also I would tell him about my plans afterwards, what's gonna happen, and slowly start to transition to saying that I feel like it's best that he continues the workout on himself, and then we together can meet up afterwards, do something, and also start saying how I will be compensating him the next time when we were gonna work out together, and what I'm planning to specifically do with him in that workout, like a boxing session or something like that. And always make sure that to follow his body language and to see how he's reacting to the whole thing, and slowly move out of the gym as we go. Yeah, probably buy him a bottle of juice as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a lot harder to say no than what you really think. Okay, I need another volunteer. Somebody raise their hand so I can see you on the screen. Elena Believa. Yeah, Elena, will you take one?
Actually, I have, as I see, schedule.
You might be number 3 then, Yelena. It's
yes. Yeah.
E is number 2.
Oh, okay, who's number 2?
Yeah.
Irina, our.
I am. Hi.
Yeah.
Okay, let me give you yours. Hold on 1 second here. You just finished a very tasty meal, but it was too much to eat and you're stuffed. Okay, but it was really great. Now the waiter just brought you a tray of your favorite desserts. He wants you to choose one for yourself. How are you going to tell him no?
Yeah. Thank you very much for interesting question. Actually, we're now in the restaurant and I ate too much right now. As you see, and I have special diet, so it's no problem for me to say a waiter that I am no gluten, sugar-free, and only healthy food girl. So just I will say no dessert, or if you will argue with me. So no tips. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Sometimes we have an excuse in our pocket, but not always. Who's our next person on the list? Anybody? Konstantin. Konstantin raised his hand. Let's see what Konstantin has to say here. Konstantin. Whoops. Konstantin, you have a very busy schedule for the next 4 weeks. You have no time for anything else. Your friend has just bought 2 tickets for Taiwan and his wife had to cancel. He wants you to go to Taiwan next week with him. How do you tell him no?
Oh, it's a really hard one. I have never been in Taiwan before. Well, what would I say? I would tell him that I really appreciate the offer. It's definitely in my list to go to Taiwan, but because of my tight schedule and my how do you put it? And my arrangements this time I cannot join him to this trip, but I will make it up for him the next time. I will invite him to some cool place as well. Back to you.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay. As you can see, people are struggling a little bit because it's not so easy to give somebody a polite explanation why and tell them you're not going to make it. Alexander, you have your hand up. You're the next one. I'm sorry?
We have some names in the chat already as well. So it would be...
Oh, I didn't see that at all.
Yeah.
Who's next then?
Yelena.
Okay.
Yelena Bilaeva. And then would be Olga.
Okay, all right. Elena, you already have 3 projects that you're working on, and it takes all of your time. Your best friend just asked you to help them with their new project. How do you tell them no?
I see. Actually, it's very live situations, you know, like I had the 2 previous situations now. Yeah, my schedule is a bit crazy nowadays, and I don't know when I can do everything that I need to do. So the first thing what I did, I said, yes, it's really cool project. I'm very happy you have it. And you know, my schedule nowadays is very busy, and I'm trying to find any time to see and try to help you. But I'm not sure when it can be possible. So I said, as soon as I have tiny time in my schedule for proper engagement, I will let you know, and you have my moral support already. So he said like, okay, I'm waiting for you, and yeah, we like. I think maybe weekend, next weekend, I can do something like this. I can help anyhow my friend. And about the other situation with Taiwan, also very similar to me, because I have friends, not Taiwan, but Thailand now, and she's asking me to come if she's temporary there. And I really want to, because I haven't been there, but it's impossible nowadays, especially because of coronavirus, you know, this situation. So this kind of things very funny. Thank you for these topics. It's nice to see it. So about my words to other people. Thank
Very
you.
good. And Walter, who was next on the list? Sorry, I didn't see it.
It would be Valeria, please.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, what about
Olga,
Olga?
it's Olga.
Yes, thanks. Olga, then Valeria.
Okay, all right. All right, why are we not getting this here? Olga, your boss asked you to work overtime 3 hours today because there is work that needs to be done today. But you don't want to. So how are you going to tell him no?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master, for the question. Right. So saying no is a bit of a problematic topic for me overall. I think that's probably one of the hardest things that I've had to learn when it comes to saying no to people. Because if someone comes to me and says, okay, can you do this quickly? I'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll just pile it on. And then someone else will come with another request and I'll be, yes, sure, I'll get around to that. And then a friend will say, okay, let's go for coffee. I'll be, yes, sure. And I'll kind of pile everything on top. So saying no is one of those really difficult things. I think over the years, it's become a bit easier because I think there are also a couple of great books on the matter. I think Essentialism is one of them. I'm not sure who's read that one. It's an interesting thing to practice. When it comes to saying no to the boss, I'd probably try and weasel around to get him to give extra pay for 3 extra hours of work. Alternatively, I think I'll get it done in a faster time. So either saying no with extra compensation or saying no with cutting down on the amount of time spent to make it not 3 hours, but negotiate down to a smaller time. So yes, thank you.
Very good. Very good, thank you. All right, next on the list, Walter.
Next on the list would be Valeria now.
Okay.
Is Valeria here? Yeah.
Valeria, your brother just called you and asked if he can borrow 20,000 rubles until October. How will you tell him no?
All righty. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, dear brother. You know what? It's been some hard times during the past 6 months with all those coronavirus situation, and lots of people lost their jobs and things are difficult these days. So basically, why do you need this money? Maybe we can buy something that you need for a lesser sum of money. I mean, like, for 5,000 rubles, which I actually can lend you easily, but 20,000 rubles. I've been planning a trip to Turkey. Have you heard that the borders are open now? So yeah, I bought a trip to Turkey for exactly 20,000 rubles. And you know what? Turkey is much more, I'm not going to say this to you because you're my brother, but still, yeah, so just tell me why do you need this 20,000 rubles? If there's something for, house making or housekeeping things, I know a lot of people who can do this for free. I have lots of friends who can help you out, and that would cost you zero, just nothing. So just to explain the things, and we'll definitely find the best solution for you. And then if you do have some extra money, I would be happy to travel to Turkey with you and your wife and your kids. So let's go together. Thanks. Mr. Table Toastmaster.
Walter, let me check. I believe I have one more, but I want to make sure before I open it up.
Yeah, that's right. It would be Caleb.
Hold on. Let me make sure I got one more. I'm trying to get this open.
Yeah, give me a note.
Why is it not opening?
If not, just say that.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, we got it.
Oh, no, that's not the right one. I'll take another route. 1 second. Hold on. I want to find out if I have a 7th one. No. So I have one for Caleb. Caleb, you're going to be the last one on the list. Sorry, everybody else, don't have time to do everybody. Caleb, you're the last one. In this case, your girlfriend's father has told you that you have to tell his daughter, no, you cannot date her anymore. So you have to tell your girlfriend no. You have to bow out politely out of the relationship. How are you going to tell her no and bow out of a relationship? Caleb?
Hello, Toastmasters. I am in a very difficult situation where I have to say no to a father of a lady that likes me. But I'll tell him that, sorry, I am moving to Russia and you are not, and your daughter is not in Russia, so she's not able to meet me, and it will be very hard to sustain the long distance relationship. And this will be better for your daughter so that she will be able to have stability in her career and in her goals. And it's always important for her to pursue friends and a support community that is closer to her. And therefore, I hope that she will be able to see things through in what she's doing and to find joy and peace in what she's doing. But I can introduce her to guys that are more suitable and that will be able to help her in her growth. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Caleb, I picked on you because I've known you for a while now and heard you speak other places in Singapore and other places with me. So I feel like you're a close friend. That's why I gave you a little bit more difficult one. All these tasks are difficult because so many of us in Toastmasters are very busy people and we always take on more. People ask us for help, we help them. We always try to find a way to reach out and help people when they ask for it. Unfortunately, that does not always suit us well, and it doesn't suit our family well. Sometimes we have to just tell people no. We have to know how to politely bow out and go away. And if you do that, you will find your life is a little bit simpler and people will respect you for not committing to something that you may not be able to complete. Mr. Toastmaster, back to you.
Thank you very much, Michael, for the table topic session. I'm going to move along to the timer. Anna Soldatova, can you please name us if everyone is qualified for the upcoming vote?
I'm not sure. The person isn't qualified due to what time limit?
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay.
1 minute is the minimum qualification. That's correct.
So unfortunately,
we have anyone?
What?
Do we have anyone?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have. Unfortunately, we have 3 persons unqualified. These are Irina, Konstantin, and Caleb. And the rest of the table topic team are qualified, and I will going to send the results in the group chat. Okay?
Yes, please. And yes, so we can see them and prepare the vote for those who are being voted at. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Yes, I'm going to use this couple of seconds as well to remind us that for the table topics, there is a minimum of 1 minute to be taken into the consideration. Okay, we've got some figures here. Yeah, that is unfortunately not enough for some of the candidates. So to sum it up, for the vote, which is upcoming, we will have Yelena Bilaeva, we will have Olga Guseva and Valeria Khaladkova to participate for the vote.
Also, Rami.
About Rami.
Sorry, my chat didn't show that. Thank you very much. And Rami to start with. Sorry, Rami, I just was too fast chatting. So you have 4 people for Randall to set up the vote. Yes, dear ladies and gentlemen, this is how the cookie crumbles, as one would say. Okay. I assume we are. I haven't considered it as a table topic speech. Yes, it is one. The direct poll is ready. Randall has provided it.
It doesn't seem to be working perfectly yet, but the
I'm checking it. You need to start the poll. Here it comes. I can see it. Everyone, please may I ask you to go ahead, use the link in the chat and make your vote for the best table topic speaker. Okay. Okay. All right. I managed to do so. I hope you guys managed to do that as well. If you have already voted, please give me a big smile in the camera. That looks good. That looks good. That looks also good. Okay. All right. We're gonna give a couple of seconds for Randall to make sure that you can note the results for the announcement later. Randall done? Perfect. We're gonna move along and finish off with a big thank you very much, Michael, for guiding us through the interactive section of table topics where everyone can join. A big round of applause for you. And move along to the next session we have on the agenda is the general evaluation, which is going to be led by Randall Eastman whenever he's ready. Randall Eastman, the general evaluator.
Thank you very much, President Walter. It's a pleasure to be back with you again with my evaluation team. I am going to first introduce our speech evaluators, and then we'll get to the support roles. So first of all, we'd like to invite our persistent guest who never bows out of taking a role in our meetings, in fact, never bows out of joining our meetings. I don't know if he joins his own club meetings at all. Michael could tell me that, but it's a pleasure to have you back with us, Caleb. And you are evaluating our first speaker of the day, which is our newest member, Konstantin Kutz. Over to you, Caleb Young in Singapore.
Fellow Toastmasters guests, especially to you, Konstantin, you gave a speech about yourself as a consultant in technology, and I think it's very useful for us to understand.
Please let me introduce you a little bit. The microphone is very hard in the audio. Someone's touching his microphone. Please make sure you don't touch the microphone from the headphones, whoever this is. Thank you very much. Caleb, continue.
Konstantin, you introduce yourself and what you do in terms of transitioning.
Yes, now this is, I think now it's better. Probably your headphone is on the table or something, so something's very scratching when you move forward. We're gonna check on that. Now it's better. You gotta move back a little bit from the screen so it doesn't touch the desk or so. Cheers.
Konstantin, you introduce yourself and what you do in terms of transitioning between your work. You work on making examples in your work and what you relate to in your work very well. You shared about your vision and dreams of making different things and even your hobbies. You shared about your hobbies and what you enjoy doing. Those are your strengths. You shared about the different things that you do, and you also shared about some stories in your life and the jokes that you have. However, you probably can work on using body language and making different points by organizing your speech such that it's easy for us to follow. By adding pauses, you're able to help the audience follow your different points, and you can make things simple and easy to understand when you add pauses. When you use body language and gestures, we will be able to follow your point clearer. You can use different emotions to make it easier for your speech to be more vibrant. You can add emotions to show disappointment. You can add emotions to show hope in your career. And you can also share examples why you chose to do development and consulting. What is the pain points that your clients or your partners face in the business world, as well as the different experiences you have with your colleagues. And during your academic time in school, why you chose to study a subject that brought you to what you're doing. all in all, you gave a very good speech that was personal and easy for us to follow. And it's very important for us to be able to understand the reason why we are doing what we are doing. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you very much. I'm going to hand it over to the general evaluator.
Oh, thank you very much again, Walter. So our second evaluator today is a special guest. We have Irina visiting us from Moscow, who is our area director for Area A, I think, Area A. And it's a pleasure for us to have you in our meeting evaluating. You are evaluating our second speaker of the day, who is our famous, or we could say infamous, most infamous member of our club. Well, you perhaps know that already, Michael Vader. So Irina, please, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Randall. Dear Toastmasters, guests, and dear Michael, it's my pleasure and honor to evaluate such great inspirational speech. Congratulations with such interesting project. Firstly, I appreciate it. I like very much your vivid gestures, your eye contact constantly into the camera directly. So I would like to everyone to pay your attention on this aspect in your future speeches. Sorry, when you participate in Toastmasters meeting or other meeting in Zoom. Also, I liked very much your interesting career story, which has shown us your growth as a leader, your growth as an emotional, the growth of your emotional intellect. You used some metaphors, or better to say comparison, computer and human in your speech. You used humor and some questions to the audience. So it was interactive. It's always good for work with the audience. Which leader would you like to be? Bad leader or good leader? So think about this. You offered us, as I understood, to think about our rounds leadership style. And that is a moment which I would like to improve a bit. What was the bottom line of your speech? Take care about people, be a leader or with defined style, or something else. What would you like your audience would do after your speech, immediately after this presentation? So maybe to add some more call to action, exact I'm sorry, to add more concrete call to action, and also to add some voice. Sometimes your voice sounded monotone, so please use your vocal variation for more impact and to electrify your next talk. Other aspects for me were great. So thank you very much. Your strong final was unforgettable for me, and you definitely inspired me to think about my own leadership style, and definitely you completed this project and implemented the purpose of this project to explore your own leadership style and to reflect on your way as a leader. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Irina. Now, Anna, could you please report the timing of the two speech evaluators?
Yes, the time for Caleb was 1 minute 56 seconds, and Irina Suvorova made exact 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, so based on that, Caleb is disqualified by 2 seconds. Sorry, Caleb. And Irina, you are de facto winner there. So there's no need for us to have a vote. Now, as general evaluator, I would like to invite my team to come up, and beginning with Valeria, who is our grammarian of the day. If you could give your grammarian report, please, Valeria.
I'm happy to give my grammarian report. And you guys gave me some hard times to find some smaller things, some incorrections, some things which I didn't find many actually. I do like being a grammarian at Moscow English-speaking clubs because we have lots of Russian-speaking people who normally make lots of small mistakes, and it's easy to take them down. But here,
Valeria, please excuse for the introduction, but we have another audio issue. I believe it has something to do, the faster you speak, the slower the network can transmit it to us.
So I need to speak slower.
Let's give that a try. Yes, let's give that a try. We always experience this with people who are outside of a network and using the mobile network.
Good. Thank you.
Want to give it a go? Yeah.
Okay then. So once again, thank you for giving me such a hard time to find the errors and for giving me such a pleasure for listening to your speeches. What I would specifically like to praise you for is the use of the phrasal verbs, which you use greatly, amazingly. The use of colloquial phrases, both in English and translated from Russian into English, which I loved a lot, and the use of gerund, which is actually is something that I don't hear very often in Moscow English-speaking clubs. I would like to point out some great phrases that I picked out, such as a strong party person, chit-chatting, without further ado, music carnivores or something that I've heard of, lift the spirit, lingua franca, and what I really love is 100 years of Toastmasters legend. It's wonderful. I also love the legacy to be and the whittle around. Basically, everything, almost like 99% of your speeches were perfectly grammared. And nonetheless, I managed to find some smaller, really, really tiny mistakes. Something like the usage of the articles. When you use the word in the plural, then you don't have to say a anything. So little details, it's not okay, just little details. Why don't drink a glass means why not drink a glass, and advice. So advice is not measurable, so it's either a piece of advice or just advice. And answering the question, do you have this? Yes, I have. Yes, I have this, or yes, I do, I guess that's the better version. So all in all, it was absolutely wonderful. And as for the word of the day, the phrase of the day, the phrase and verb of the day, the go out thing, thank you for using this. Table topics was a blast, and you passed this exam with flying colors. What Michael would definitely be the winner of this short contest, using the go out thing for 7 times, although I think a couple of times you were just repeating the phrase just to exaggerate it a little bit. But I would also like to mention Randall for using the go out thing as well. And I guess I heard from Caleb once. So thank you. And now let's please go out.
Thank you very much, Valeria. Wonderful. It was a challenging verbal phrase for us to use. I'm sorry that Michael beat me on using it. I'll have to try harder next week. I would like to ask our new member, Rami, who's taking on his first role today, to give us the counters report. Rami, over to you.
Yes, thank you. So in total, I've managed to find 30 for the whole group. For Walter, I managed to find 7. 1 2 1 and 3 and M that got repeated. And for Anna Saldatova, I managed to find 5 A's and 3 and M's. For Olga Guseva, 2 M's. For Elena Baleva, 2 A's, 3 M. And for Valeria Holdokova, 1 a and 1 and 1 and. And for Konstantin, I managed to find 2 a and 2 As for the rest, nothing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robbie. Well done. Next, we have probably the toughest part of the meeting, because I know Alexander Kim, who's our quizmaster of the day, can be very devious. So Alexander, over to you, quizmaster of the day.
Thank you, Randall. Well, I used to be devious. Now I think the questions would be way easier. So let's start with an easy one. Who was offered to visit Taiwan today? Oh, by the way, write your answers in the chat so we can track who was the first. Rami is correct, absolutely. Now, what singer was mentioned today during the meeting? President Walter Schwartz, 1 point for you. Next, the ticket to which country costs exactly 20,000 rubles? Caleb was close, but not, I wish. Rami? Yeah, Rami was the first. According to Michael, how do you get everything you want in your life? Randall is absolutely correct. See You at the Top is a book written by Zig Ziglar. What his occupation? Besides being a writer, of course. Salesman, absolutely. What does Costa lie about in his CV? Yeah, intermediate level of German.
Sehr gut.
Hard metal, Costa, is he a fan or not? Not a fan, yep. And now I think this is the most tricky question. The word Europe was mentioned only once today. Can you remember what was the context? Yeah, Hotel Europe, Anna Soldato, yeah. So not that difficult, yeah? So on that point, I'd like to bow out and move on with our last section of our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Quizmaster Alex. Okay, I just noticed something. When people said the word of the day today, nobody was making the sound. You need to make that sound again. Walter, I can't hear you.
I said
Okay,
I was, but I was muted.
All right. Well, unmute yourself when you make the sound.
If I do it, my computer will fall over. So.
Okay, don't do that. We can't afford to repair you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your general evaluator of the day. I'm going to tell you a few things about what I saw that was good, or maybe just focus on the bits that need to be improved. So first of all, I've got the handy general evaluator checklist. Talking about before the meeting, I think actually the meeting was well prepared before. We started early on Zoom. Walter came on board very early, about half an hour early, and we were going through all of the roles to make sure that roles were filled, and we were all abreast of the agenda, so that was good. However, I have to say that a lot of people didn't show up on time, which is unfortunate. Certainly, if this was in a physical meeting room, it would be disturbing us as a meeting if people keep trickling in 5, 10, 15 minutes late. We welcome everybody to come, and we appreciate you here, but please join us before the meeting officially starts, which should be at 2 o'clock. Now, the meeting didn't start on time. It started at 2:05. Why did it start at 2:05? Because not all of our role-playing members were in the room yet. So Walter was being cautious to make sure that the roles were going to be filled for the meeting today. Everyone was properly introduced, and the Toastmaster, the president who opened the meeting, introduced the Toastmaster quite well. Something that we discussed at our last executive meeting is perhaps the Sergeant at Arms, who's our devious quizmaster of the day, perhaps he should open the meeting and then introduce the president, and then the president would introduce the Toastmasters. So that's something to think about. And I think there are a few points that we might want to think as an executive team about what is our standard. So we actually have several standards, I think, all at play in our meetings. And as we get more mature as a club, I think we can solidify what our own specific club standards are. Toastmaster introduced the theme of the day, and he gave a story, which was a good rationale why he chose the theme. That was quite good. I thought that the Toastmaster who loves to speak and loves to talk to people and talk about people gave introductions to the various role players that were pretty, shall I say, off the cuff. So they weren't well prepared in advance. And I think as a club, we can improve on how we introduce people. And it's an art, there is an art to preparing to introduce a person so that the introduction gets the audience very much engaged and also makes the person feel very warm and that you've really thought about them before you talk about them. I thought I would say a couple of words about the Zoommeister, which I call myself today. So we have this role, since we're meeting online, of a Zoommeister. This role has fallen mostly to myself, Walter, I think, and Alex. And I think there are some reasons for that, but I think that we should share this role so that others get a chance to learn how to do it and how learn what some of the nuances are to it, because it's now a 2020 life skill. It's something that is really handy, and I've discovered joining other clubs, meetings elsewhere in the world, that we actually do a pretty good job. But when you're in the role, you realize that there are things that need to be thought about and that can be done better. So each time I do it, I think I'm learning something, and there's still room to improve. But this is actually something that everybody in this room should have a chance to do, because it's really helpful in this current situation that we're in. The second thing, as a club, we don't have a policy about it, but I wonder if we should spotlight which is a Zoom feature, spotlight the speakers, the prepared speakers. So, because in the past, it's happened a couple of times, it didn't happen today, that a speaker is speaking and then someone switches on their mic and then they whack the table or something or start talking to their dog. And then the focus of the camera switches to them while the person's still speaking and is distracting. That didn't happen today, but I just think as a club, Walter, we should maybe think about a policy whether the Zoom master should automatically, not automatically, you have to do it physically, but spotlight the individual speakers who are the prepared speakers. We're recording the meeting today. I just want all of you to know that. Criticize myself. Walter started after the break before I had a chance to restart the recording. So that's my fault. And topic master of the day today had an extremely good set of questions and well thought out structure for the TOEFL topic session. Technically, we had a glitch that, Michael, you were sharing your screen and then the person who was reading the question started to speak. So after about 3 times, I got better at paying attention to this as being the Zoom master to unshare your screen so the focus would go onto the speaker. In our meetings, we're trying several different formats for timing and for table topic sessions, and we need to learn how to do it and obviously get better and better. But the Zoom Meister needs to think about that. And especially it seems an issue in table topics because we're trying to share a question somehow, and visually is often the best way to do it with a screen share. So that's something we can learn how to do a bit better. I want to say a couple of comments about for our speech evaluators, since they should get some evaluation too. Caleb, we had this technical problem. So some of the things we encounter are technical. Somehow you were doing what I do, which drives Walter crazy, which was whacking something, some cable, and it was causing a lot of interference. So we couldn't hear you clearly. That impacts on how the delivery of your evaluation is received. And we had a similar but different situation with Irina, who was speaking, and we couldn't fully hear what you were saying because of some contact. Caleb, you could improve your eye contact a little bit. You were looking kind of over there, I think, or down for a lot of the evaluation. And this is certainly hard to do, but it's something we need to learn to do to be better than everyone else outside, is to look at the camera, not at our notes. Now I'm looking at my notes. Second thing, Irina gave us a very good comment about the importance of how Michael was having good eye contact with us throughout his presentation, and that's true. He's extremely good at maintaining eye contact. And I noticed when Irina, you were doing this, you were about 10 degrees off to the right. So you weren't looking totally at the camera. And if you were, you would be just that little bit better in your evaluation. And I think it's something difficult to do because you're sitting in the beautiful Hotel Europa in a nice cafe, but the lighting wasn't ideal for you. We couldn't see your face too clearly. And actually, Olga, you've got your video off right now. And also Anna and Konstantin, maybe this isn't important to you in your life, but in our meetings, we're trying to become better presenters, better communicators, and Walter has noticed this from the first time we went online. Lighting is important too. So I'm lucky because I've got a window right here shining in on me. But if you're not lucky, you might want to plan in advance to test your video and your audio before we start our meeting. And so you can see most of my comments today are about technical matters. This matters because it makes a difference in the impact of what we say and do. So if everybody could please pay attention to that. And one final note at the beginning, I told Valeria, I think it was Valeria, if you switch your camera, if you're using your mobile phone, sometimes we have the habit of looking at our phone like this. You can't even see it, but like this. But if you switch it like that, when you're in a Zoom call, a conference call, it gives a much better image to all the other participants. So just bear that in mind if you are using your phone elsewhere and joining a meeting. Mr. Toastmaster, that's all I have to say. It was a great meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody who joined and participated in our meeting, especially our guests.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eastman, General Evaluator. Thank you very much, dear Randall. I'm gonna not close off the meeting, obviously, before we have one important thing to do, dear Toasties and Toastmasters. We would like to have the sound turn on and unmute for everyone and put out our drums to announce who are the results of the votes and who are the winners for today. Thank you very much for arranging and participating with the vote. We are going to start with the best table topic speaker of today. Drums, please. The best table topic speaker of today is Valeria Khalatkova. Congratulations, Valeria. Congratulations. You see, joining was great for you today. Let's move on to the next, which we will have the best evaluator of the day. Put out our drums, off we go. The best evaluator award of today goes to Irina Suvorova. I think we need to double check if there's some connection with being area director and visiting local clubs.
Yeah, it's rigged.
I have not said this. And last but not least, dear ladies and gentlemen, the best speaker of today. Take out your drums and off we go. We're going to announce Mr. Michael Wader. Dear ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good job. Thank you very much for attending and delivering such great speeches. Thank you very much again for General Evaluator. We need to improve daily as we always want. I'm going to close off with a big thank you for the participation, and we'll also announce that our next meeting is on the 14th of September, 19th of September, obviously. at 14:00. That was the numbers. So we will still have an online meeting. I know there are a lot of questions of when we are going to be offline again. I will be only able to confirm once our library will allow us to do so. So please give us some more time, because the library won't reopen unless there have no officials of doing so. It will be an online meeting anyway. Everyone is welcome to do so. For everyone who's joining us several times, we're expecting your members' applications daily to move along with have you on board as well. Apart from that, I have another note to share, and that is that we would like, or I would like to know for the next meeting, which roles you guys are willing to take on. So for everyone who is already attending, now you have always the chance, which is our latest officers training improvement, that we want to discuss, and who is going to pick the roles for the next upcoming meeting to enhance the alignment project of the alignment speed for the next agenda. Now, yes, I have Michael. Is that a raise of a hand?
Yes.
Michael, please.
I'd like to be one of the evaluators, please.
Speech evaluator or general?
Speech evaluator, please.
Okay, Michael, speech evaluator 1. Good. Next, please.
I'm gonna be a speaker.
That is so good. Speaker, that was I'm gonna be was Alex Kim.
Walter, can I become a general evaluator for the 19th, right?
Please tell me who is speaking.
Is that Valeria?
Valeria Kalaskova.
Is that Valeria?
Exactly, yes.
You want to be
Valeria, you certainly can.
The general evaluator, please.
General evaluator, herewith you should be. Okay. Moving along.
We need a tabletop.
Biljana Bilaeva.
I want to be a counter.
A counter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good. We have more movements?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have Elena's trying to say something.
Elena in the red jacket.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Hi. We haven't had the chance to learn to know you. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm newcomer in your community, so I do not know absolutely the rules and the procedures. I'm very sorry for being late to your meeting, and this is my first investigation, just a small test drive, just to understand how everything works in your community, to understand whether I can be a part of it.
Yes, you're very welcome, Yelena. You're just on my screen at the third, Yelena. That's why I'm referring to you as Yelena the red hoodie. Dear Yelena with the red hoodie, thanks for joining. We all started like you, just squeezing in and having a look, which is perfectly fine. Usually the procedure is that guests can come over and participate in the interactive sections such as table topics or the quiz masters. And all the roles you just experienced throughout today, say the evaluator role, the speech roles, the speaker roles, they are aligned due to an official program which you can sign up to. That becomes applicable to you once you sign up a membership, which costs $42 or $45 for 6 months. Please, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, because the exchange rate currently is always a bit roughly like that. So once you have joined 2-3 times, I think 3 is officially, you can hand in your application form, as did Konstantin and Rami today. That's exactly what they did. And that's why Konstantin had his first opening speech as an official speech being selected for that.
Walter, can we ask Elena to give us her email, and then we can follow up with more details about how
to put it in the chat.
Yes, Yelena, with the red jacket, if you can just write in the chat, either to me, if you don't want to share it among everyone, just pick me or Randall, your email address, and then we can follow up with you and explain you more details.
Yes, thank you very much. I'll do it.
Okay, good. the same, maybe some words from the other Elena, which I have seen, but I have never heard yet before. Yelena, the one in the forest, probably, or in the woods. Hi.
I'm not in the forest. I'm not in the wood, but I'm listening to you attentively.
Oh, that's good. Did we have you on board already offline? I don't remember.
Sorry?
Did we see each other live in person? Or is it the first time you're attending our meeting?
This is not the first time. I suppose I have been 2 times at your meetings, but it was from time to time.
Okay, not regular. Okay, good. But you're from Saint Petersburg, or are you from a different country?
Saint Petersburg.
From Saint Petersburg. Okay, good. Good to know. Everyone else or someone else I missed? No, I think we have it, because sometimes people come in and out and I can't follow up of introducing everyone. So the same obviously is for you. So if you, Yelena, the one who's not in the dacha, if you want to provide your email address, then we can also give you some information how to move along as if you wish.
Walter, Randall has something.
Randall, yes.
No, you just said what I wanted to say, but Walter, we still have a few roles next week, next meeting that are important, like the table topic master. We need a willing victim to take on that role.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would be willing actually to go for the table topic master, but I don't know if I've requested that on Easy Speak.
Okay, there we go. Your table topic.
You got it. You got it.
I'm going to be table topic master. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we have at least, do we have another crucial role for the Toastmaster? Do we have
grammarian? We need a grammarian.
Grammarian.
Grammarian?
I can be.
Who is that?
Rami said he would be.
Rami. Very good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay.
You need an extra speech evaluator. I can volunteer for that.
Ah, Olga.
Very good. Very good. Very
Yes.
good.
Olga, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Olga.
Olga, I'm sorry I missed your meeting yesterday. Sorry.
That's fine. No problem.
Walter, we have one vacant slot for a speaker next meeting. For anybody who's with us today, if they want to speak, please take note of that.
Okay.
We have no other speeches in the queue, so everyone who was in the queue is now allocated to an upcoming meeting.
Good.
So
okay. Guys, you're knowing that? Anna, you're knowing that? Anna, did we provide you another role or did I left you out?
I've already signed on Easy Speak.
That I think you had it something, right? What are you? Do you know what it was? What it was?
He's the first speech evaluator.
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
We need a timer. Konstantin, maybe. Can you be the timer? Is
Yeah, is that
Will do.
cool?
Okay, okay, we've got you.
Great. And then would it be right for me to assume that the Toastmaster would be Anastasia Lukina because she wanted this time, and then we'd assume that she'd move ahead with next?
Yes, we assume the sale.
If she's back, that'd be.
Yeah.
We need a quiz master. Final.
Joke master.
Actually, everybody here has a role. Okay, we can fill that later, Walter.
Let's go coffee.
Oh, and we need a joke master. Walter.
Yes, I know, but everyone has a role here, but maybe some guests.
The joke master?
Me?
The joke master.
I try always to be the joke master. I don't need a role for that. But yeah, we can put it down. Joke master.
Walter.
Yes.
You know, I noticed tonight you were having problems with ballots for people voting. So what I suggest is at the meeting that everybody pick up a little piece of paper, a sticky, and they write their choice on that sticky, and we all pass it to you.
Yeah, that's very good. So I can take it over from just right here, correct?
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, dear ladies and gentlemen, don't want to bore you, and I want to thank you very much for your attendance as well as for your contribution of your thoughts and personal sharing of experiences, which always enriches these sessions. Thank you very much for joining us. Speak soon, write us when you want to join, and be quick with signing up roles. For everyone who I'm going to see in a couple, probably in 1 hour in the city center, I'll see you at in half an hour. For everyone else, see you at the meeting 19th of September at 14 o'clock. Bye-bye. Best regards to all the Toastmasters.
Next time.
Bye-bye.